Josh Green here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by Kalle Sauerland here in Bolton. 2 weeks on the spin in Bolton. How are you doing, Kalle?
Back in Bolton live on Channel 5 Friday night. Do not miss it. We had fantastic viewing numbers last week and expecting big viewing numbers this week for the return of Lyndon Arthur against a very tough man in Liam Cameron. Very live fight. Exciting. It's gone down really well online. And I've, get sort of vibe about it. There's a few different theories on what's going to happen Friday night, but one thing I'm pretty sure of, we're going to get a cracking light heavyweight, absolute belter of a fight on Channel 5. Live and free on Channel 5.
Exactly. Liam Cameron made his return on a Matchroom show a number of months back after a long time out of the ring. Looked good, but he's still, you look at the record and there's been just one fight in a long time. Is that the danger for him coming into this fight?
Danger for him. So let's talk about the dangers for both of them. That's the danger for Liam Cameron. We know Liam Cameron's pedigree. We all know Liam Cameron can really fight. We all know that Lyndon Arthur can really fight. The question is, he's just had a big fight outside. He's fought Dimitri Bivol. Arguably, for me, people seem to change their minds on this pound for pound the whole time. But he's got to be up there. He's got to be up there. Don't think anyone will question that. So he's just fought one of the best fighters in the world, not that weight, in the whole of boxing. And how does he get up for a Liam Cameron? So it's like, is that the banana skin? Is it Liam? It's going to be very interesting. A lot of storylines around it. You can make up all the storylines, but tune in Channel 5 Friday night, and we're going to see, I think, an absolute cracker of a fight. We've just had an absolute belter with Abbas Baru McGowan last Friday. And, they seem to really deliver these Channel 5 fight nights. So let's hope that continues Friday night.
We'll get to last week in a second, but how much do you think Lyndon learned from that loss, even though it was to one of the best fighters, pound for pound, as you say, in the world? But you have to learn from these losses.
Yeah, you have to, but we don't know. So we will only know Friday night, and I think we'll know pretty quick. We don't know. So I'd expect him to soak it up like a sponge. He loves his boxing. He's a thinking guy. Pat Barrett is an institution in boxing almost. Probably the most boxing guy I could think of. In fact, if you saw boxing in the dictionary, it's Pat Barrett boxing. So you'd expect him to soak up that experience with Bivol like a sponge. And he despite the loss, he really enjoyed himself out in Saudi with all the different names on that card and stuff. So he will have taken a confidence boost in that. Now the danger is that the confidence boost isn't associated with learning, right? I don't think so, but that's the danger. But we'll find out very quickly on Friday night, and I'm expecting to see I forget, he went into that fight as an IBO world champion, so he was already very high up the world rankings. But it's now time to make that statement, I'm back, because there are very big fights that are in the pipeline.
Talking about those fights, Dan Aziz, a possible opportunity. We saw he had an under par performance on Saturday.
We've had some very positive discussions around that fight. It's a fight I think we can make. It's a fight that I almost expect to get made if he gets through this. There's other options, but that's the fight that Lyndon quite fancies. I know Pat fancies it. And we fancy it because I'm not going on what Dan Aziz did on Saturday night. I mean, Dan Aziz clearly isn't one of these guys who he gets up for big occasions. So I'm not reading into that's now an easier fight or something. Dan Aziz is a tough fight. Not taking anything away from Dan Aziz because of Saturday. But yeah, that's a great fight. It's others, You've got the Boatsy, Hutchinson. I don't know what comes out of that. And you've got Anthony Yard, the third one of that, the trilogy, one apiece. Let's roll it. So there's other fights as well. I just think that the Aziz one is the most likely to get done.
Possibility that we don't know 100%. Possibility that Anthony Yard is a promotional free agent. Would be any interest in trying to gain his signature?
We're always interested in top fighters. Anthony Yard's a top fighter. I'm not sure about his status, so. I don't want to get a legal letter off Frank, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut on that. But yeah,
Probably wise.
Yeah, exactly. Probably wise. Speaking from experience here, no, I love Frank. But I also know he loves a legal letter, so I'm going to keep my mouth very shut on that one. No, until we know people are free agents properly and we get it confirmed by their promoters, then normally we don't tend to veer onto someone else's grass.
Briefly mentioned Abbas Barrow and Macaulay McGowan. Terrific fight last Friday night, live on Channel 5, live and free on Channel 5.
Yes, live and free on Channel 5.
Abbas Barrow is really staking his claim to get up to that and fight for a world title now. He's done it the quiet way, he's not done it the flashy way.
As well, though. He's done it the hard way, yeah? He's fought his last 2 fights over here against, I'm not going to call them world beaters, but I'm going to call them very tough opponents in their own backyards. So he's done it the hard way. I think he quite enjoys that sort of a bit of a tear up. I do sometimes think, could he make welter? You know, but he's gone for the super welter. So it's also clear he doesn't pack that sort of one punch finish. What he is, though, is extremely slick, extremely tough, and very classy boxer. Very classy human as well, but very classy boxer. Like, he does everything well. So, you know, and don't forget the pedigree there. He's not only a European champion, he was an amateur bronze medalist. He's a world bronze medalist. You know, and he's been in this scene at the very top. People don't know for a long time. You know, he lost a final eliminators, the only loss he's had, about 4 years ago to Jack Kulkai. No shame in that. Very, very close decision, split decision. Came back from that, learnt, didn't lose, learnt, and yeah, he's top of the rankings now. So we're actually meeting with the WBA this week, and we'll find out a bit more about when we're getting that down. I saw Ortiz is now not boxing on the August 3 card, so you know, that's a fight that's got to come.
I spoke to your brother a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't had the chance to speak to you for a little while. So there are a few things I'd like to cover with you. Mr. Chris Eubank Jr. It's a few weeks now. It's a few weeks now until the split, since the split has happened. Looking back on it, can you sort of understand the reasoning from Chris's side?
Well, it was a mutual. We reached an amicable agreement. So you know, all good things. But I've been around the block too many times. All good things do come to an end in boxing, and you know, we had some great times together. Ups, downs, sideways, left, rights, and centres. But we had some great times. And as I said, we reached an amicable agreement. So yeah, no, it's just that's life.
But as a promoter that had one of the best fighters, one of the most watched fighters here in the UK, it must be a little bit difficult to take that he's not no longer a Wasserman fighter.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, again, I've been around the block too many times. I'm just happy we reached that amicable agreement at the end to that we were on good terms, you know, and you know, as a stable, we feel that we're in a great place. I think we're going to make 1 or 2 more additions this year, but we're not looking to be a 50 fighter stable. I think we're around 20-25 fighters at the moment. Lovely for us, absolutely perfect. We can shift up a gear as well if we need to, if we want to, but right now we're very happy with that. We've got 3-4 guys in the top 5 of the world. So those are the ones obviously that'll be next in line for world titles. Josh Kelly, just spoke about Abbas a second ago. Charlie Edwards. So there's unfortunately Lerone Richards last week. That's boxing though, you know. And then if I look at I go down the line, we've got the sort of European level ones. There's 6 or 7 there, you know. We saw Chloe Watson on the female side last week. Big fight with Maisie coming up there. So we're in a really good place. So you know, changes happen. That's life, you know. I've been 24 years in this game, right? So I know it all too well.
Bit of heavyweight talk. Anthony Joshua seemingly coming closer to that Daniel Dubois fight in September. Really exciting fight for the British public. If it is to be made, how would you see that one going?
It's a tough fight. It's a really good fight. I think that Dubois is one of the most improved fighters on the world scene in all weights. He's really, from that Joe Joyce loss, for me, the Hrgovic fight was impressive, but the one before that, the Miller fight, that's where I really, and also above the Usyk fight, the Miller fight, he had to dig really deep, really deep, and I think he's added that layer to it, and I'm really impressed with him. At the same time, Joshua has really improved, and I'd probably go Joshua in the later rounds.
I think knockout, because both have got a huge amount of player power.
I mean, you know, Daniel maybe takes a punch or two too many for my liking. If I was betting, I think that Joshua's got really effective,
Tyson Fury, we saw a video leaked on social media last week of Tyson emerging from a pub, intoxicated. We know what he's been like in previous.
Intoxicated. I'm afraid guilty as charged. You know, I mean, we've all been there.
But knowing his past and what he's been like a number of years ago now, is there any concern?
Look, I can only look at it from the outside, and I think first of all, it's absolutely tasteless that to put something like that. Whoever shared that on social media needs his brains testing. I just think it's, you know, like, I saw pictures of him in training 2 days later. You know, man, the guy's been on a 7-month camp, you know, including the big cut and the setback, and he's clearly letting off some steam. As I said, guilty as charged. You know, I mean, we've all been there. Come on, you know, it's tasteless though to share something like that. Tasteless.
Just final thing from Friday night, what are you expecting to see from this big main event?
Look, stacked card. Very excited to see Tom Whelan back in the ring. If you haven't seen Tom Whelan, check him out. He'll be on the live portion of the Channel 5 card. Matty Harris back in the ring. He was one of our big heavyweight hopes. With Peter Fury now. I'm just hoping that Lyndon can make that Bivol fight count. And that's probably, for me as an insider, the most exciting thing I'm going to see on Friday, because that's, for me, fascinating how boxers learn. We talked about Daniel Dubois learning from the Joe Joyce fight. We talk about Anthony Joshua learning from his Usyk fights. You learn in boxing. That's the difference between a great and a good boxer. So we will see where this takes Lyndon Arthur's career. And we win on Friday night, sets up big blockbuster fights. Lose on Friday night, it ain't looking good.
Kalle, cheers for your time. Good conversation, mate.
Thank you very much.